All right, good morning and good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. This is Mrs. Walsh, and I am here to deliver session 1 to you today. As you guys know, we are starting this new unit. The new unit is focused around texts that cover social issues. So when we're talking about social issues, guys, we're talking about things that happen in society today that we see pop up and that just happens to be a problem in our society. So this could be anything from like something very minuscule to maybe a family that's going through a divorce or something, where and how that's affecting the children and the separation kind of there. Anywhere from that to anything concerning if somebody has some sort of prejudice against somebody because of how they look or how they behave or anything like that. That could also be a social issue. So any sort of thing that we see popping up inside of our society that seems to be a systemic problem, where we see it being a problem for many people. So that's kind of what we're covering today. You guys know that we will be reading the book Posted to go along with this. But along with that, we also have our short story. And I think that you're going to be very pleased when we come across this because you're going to recognize this character. Oh, I did just notice too, I was really worried about my little thing here, the little pointer thing, because it said I couldn't do it unless I was screen mirroring, but apparently I can also do it when I am screen recording. So I've got my special little thing here. I could have my tracer tail. Woo! But I think what I'm going to do today is not have the tail on because it'll help me when I'm reading along. While we're looking at this, guys, one thing that I want you to first do is I want you to think to yourself, how can other people cause problems for you? Okay, I'm thinking, think about this. This could be at school. This could be at home. I know my sibling used to always cause me a whole bunch of problems. I know that sometimes when I go out into the community, into society, other people can also cause me problems. A lot of times it has to do with other people's reactions to things and those reactions having an impact on me. So that would be something that I would consider. I can think of if... I'm just thinking about a lot of different ways that people can cause problems. So if you think about this right here, let's have whoever is running the video right now just go ahead and pause. We will pause right now so that you guys can turn and talk. Pause right now. Turn and talk about how other people in your life can cause problems for you. Go now. All right, so hopefully you guys were able to talk with each other, kind of brainstorm some different ways that other people can affect you and can cause issues in your life. Going forward, today what we are going to do, we are going to be reading Mr. Adam Bagdasarian. Again, Adam Bagdasarian is the same person who wrote Popularity and The Fight. So we know we'll be looking at Will. This story is actually called My Side of the Story, and it follows Will a little farther into his life and maybe some of the problems that are happening. As we go through things, guys, we will end up jotting notes. We'll end up typing about the text. We'll end up talking about the text. I'm going to kind of prompt you on that as we go through. You guys know that we'll be working on this schedule. Actually, that's the wrong one. This schedule for Posted. So anytime that we are doing these readings, guys, you are going to see me end up telling you, like, you may have to submit something one day. Maybe another time you're going to do a write long or something. You'll have these group lit discussions. Those are all opportunities to kind of talk, write, and think about the text that we are reading together. All right, so going back to the story now, what I'm going to do in order for you to be able to follow along with me is I am going to use my little pointer, but I'm not going to have the tail, okay? So I'm going to just go along underneath what I read like this so that you can follow along with me. All right, so this is called My Side of the Story. It says, I was sitting at my desk in my bedroom practicing my signature when my brother came in and asked me if I wanted to throw the ball around or shoot baskets. No, I said. So he looked over my shoulder at the signatures, went into the bathroom for a few seconds, came out, went to his own desk, unraveled an entire roll of Scotch tape, and stuck it to my head. All right, I'm going to pause there. Already amping up here in Will's world, right? So what you need to understand, guys, is that Will is the character, the main character. He's main character, and he is also, in this story, right? Skip is the brother, just so we are clear. So already, what would you say about this relationship? I would say that so far, I think that they must get along sometimes, right? Get along sometimes, because he asked them to play. But then they also fight sometimes, right? And maybe they fight a little dirty sometimes, because sticking a whole roll of Scotch tape on somebody's head is fighting a little dirty. Although I would say it's probably not any dirtier than most siblings are, right? Like those of us who have siblings know that it can get a little ugly sometimes with the picking that goes on there. But it looks like I said, sometimes they must get along because he asked them to play, so it wasn't out of the realm of possibility. But also we see that they fight sometimes. I'm also questioning why he just simply said no, because it kind of seems like he wasn't even like, I don't know, considering his brother there or anything. But, all right, let's keep going. Naturally, I was outraged. What did you do that for? I asked. It was a stupid question, because I knew very well why he had done it. He had done it for the same reason he had stuffed me in the laundry hamper and tied me to a chair with my best ties. He had done it because he was 14 and had the great good fortune to be blessed with a little brother he could bedevil at will. So first of all, bedevil. We can obviously assume that means like mess with. Right? I can tell that just from my context clues. So basically what he's saying is the only reason he picks on him is because he's the older brother, and that's basically what little brothers are good for. So what new ideas do we have about the brothers? Let's think about this. Well, we know Skip is older. We know Will is younger. We know that Skip picks on a regular basis. Picks on the regs, right? So we know he does that, and we know that Will just accepts it most of the time, right? The picking. It kind of seems like it just is how it is for them, right? They're brothers and they pick at each other. Great. Let's keep going. Try to get it off, he said. This I attempted to do, but he had rubbed the Scotch tape so hard into my scalp that it had become a part of my head. Let me try, he said. So he tried, and I yowled, and he stopped. Then he gently pulled a piece of the Scotch tape off the side of my head, along with 6 or 7 of my temple hairs. Even at the age of 9, I knew that I had been mightily wronged. Even at 9, I knew that this violated every code of justice and fair play that I had ever been taught. And so, my heart full of righteous rage and indignation, I leapt out of my chair, past my brother, in search of justice. Justice. What does that sound like he's going to do to you guys? I don't know. When I think about that and I hear this little phrase here of in search of justice, all I can think is tattling. He's going to go be a tattletale and he's going to tell on his brother. He's looking for justice. So it says, what new relationships do you think are going to come into play? Put yourself in his position. You have been mightily wronged by your sibling. You are going in search of justice. Who are you going to look for? I bet we may meet a parent. That's who I'd run for. I wonder if that's who you guys would run for too. A parent or somebody else who's in charge. Maybe your babysitter, or if your grandma or grandpa watch you after school, you're going to whoever is in charge and whoever can punish the person who just dealt you such a horrible injustice, right? All right, so let's go. Let's keep looking. In those days, justice looked a good deal like, my mother. There we are, a parent. It had lovely brown hair, a warm, enchanting smile, and a soft, understanding voice. Guys, when it says it right here, what is it referring to? Think about it. Justice looked a good deal like my mother. It had lovely brown hair, a warm, enchanting smile, and a soft, understanding voice. So basically, guys, he is equating his mom equals justice. So he's basically saying justice looks like his mom. It was comforting to know that in a matter of seconds, my mother would hear the evidence, weigh the evidence, and punish my brother. Generally, things were murkier. Generally, I did something by accident, then my brother did something back, and I did something back, and on until until it was impossible to tell who was at fault. But this was the case of a lifetime. And the best part of all was that the evidence was stuck to my head. When I reached my mother's door, I saw that the door was closed. For a moment, I hesitated, wondering if she was sleeping. But I was so sure of my case, so convinced of the general rightness of my mission, that I threw open the door and burst into the room screaming, "Mom, Mom, Skip put..." And then I realized that I was talking to my father, not my mother. All right, so I'm going to stop right there. Relationships that we're noticing so far. Don't worry, guys. I will finish that story at some point in time, just not today, because you know how I like to leave you hanging with those Will stories. So relationships we're noticing, okay? We've got Will and Skip. They're brothers. We know that much, right? I think I'm going to change this color because I feel like it's not standing out very well. Oopsie, my bad. Style. Let's make it something that stands out and make it a little thicker, and maybe that'll help. Boom, boom. Okay. So Skip and Will are brothers, right? We also know that he's older, he's younger, obviously. We also know that they pick at each other. And they must often tell on each other, because it seems as though this is something that Will is used to doing, going off and running for his mother. All right. Then we see Will and his mom. It seems as though certain words that he used, right? Lovely brown hair, enchanting, smile, right? What was that last thing that he said? Enchanting smile, an understanding voice. He called her justice, right? She is justice. So, how does Will feel about his mom? Will loves his mom, right? He trusts her to do the right thing, right? Judge and jury. I would say they have a positive relationship, it seems. And then we come down here to Dad. We haven't really seen Dad yet, right? We have not gotten much of anything other than that very last sentence. But just the grinding halt that came, grinding halt, when he saw his dad. I'm guessing he is not used to tattling to Dad. Dad is not equal to justice in Will's eyes. It's just what I'm guessing. Like I said, we haven't seen a lot so far about Dad, but it felt different, you guys, didn't it? When he talked about his mom, you could feel kind of that love and that trust and like, I'm going to go to Mom and she's going to make everything okay. But then as soon as they mentioned the dad, he was like, put the brakes on. Oh man, it was my father, not my mother. And then we just stop there. So we don't know exactly what's going to end up happening, but I wasn't getting the same vibe I was off of Mom, that's for sure. And I think that that's really important to notice. All right, so that's the work we're doing today, guys. I know it's not a lot. I know that there wasn't a ton of work to be done. But basically, this is one of the first things that we're going to end up going into our story with, okay? You guys are going to start posted tomorrow. Once we start posted, one of the very first things we are going to look at is what relationships exist in our story. So we're going to start creating, we will probably start by listing the characters. Oops, I can't write. Oops, I still can't write. Listing characters and then connecting the characters. And then analyzing their relationships. Because apparently, or not apparently, it was the wrong word. Eventually, we are going to start seeing these relationships and we're going to start to see the little bits of problems that pop up here and there, okay? You know, we're going to start seeing some things happen. There are several characters in Posted. There's actually 4 main boys that kind of hang out with each other. And then there is a girl who kind of comes into play as well. I'm not giving anything away because she shows up super early in the book. But you're already going to have those people that you're going to have to start to understand those characters themselves and then understand how they interact with each other and what their relationships start looking at. So that's going to be the work that we start with tomorrow, guys, okay? What I would like to see you do with the rest of class today is we're not going to start reading Posted yet. I want to be the one who's there that reads the introduction in the first paragraph with you, or first chapter with you. So we're going to stick to our schedule. Remember, we are not reading Posted, not reading Posted until tomorrow, which is Wednesday, in case you're wondering. And we will look at this work then. So what I'd like to see you guys do, hopefully you've already played the Blooket. If you would like to spend a little extra time going through the Quizlets with those vocab, or if the whole class, and the guest teacher can listen to this message here, if the whole class feels that they can handle another Blooket and that they would benefit from it for studying their vocab, then you could do another Blooket. Kids can do the Quizlets in Schoology for vocab. Or you guys can start working on your Lexia for the week. I do not want anybody playing games, and I do not want anybody doing other classes' work. You have your other classes for that. I would like you to stay focused on English class today. So that's kind of what you've got coming down the pike. I know this wasn't a huge lesson, but hopefully that gives you guys time to do some other things, like study your vocab words and get some Lexia done. Because when I get back tomorrow, we will hit the ground running with Posted, and we will be off to the races in understanding that book, okay? If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to help. Just do the best you can, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Goodbye. Mwah.